Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurav Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's continue our discussions on the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, titled Knowledge of the Absolute. The 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita ended with Krishna's conclusion that the highest yogi is that person who is constantly absorbed in thought of Krishna and one who is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna intimately, most intimately, what Krishna says. So which means Krishna talks about very advanced devotional platform wherein a yogi really has to come to that level. In fact, the gopis in Vrindavan were considered to be the topmost yogis, the typical example of great yogis, because they were so much absorbed in Krishna's devotion that nothing is comparable to their absorption to Krishna. So even Lord Krishna was so much obliged to them for their high level of devotion. There's a statement in the Bhagavata wherein Lord Krishna himself says, I cannot, just like in the Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, Krishna says, as you surrender, I reciprocate. Correct? Ye yathamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. This is a statement, promise made by Krishna. But this promise of Krishna fails with gopis. Why? Because the gopis' devotion to Krishna is so high, elevated. Krishna says, even one lifetime of Brahma also is less to repay the type of devotion you are showing towards me, you are manifesting towards me, that I don't have anything to give you back. Be satisfied with your own devotion. That is the level of devotion. So, Krishna in one sense in Bhagavad Gita is trying to give us an indication of the beginning of pure devotional service. Because right now, we are in a state of material conception of life. So, the 6th chapter conclusion is a sort of an indication that yes, what Krishna wants from us is pure devotional service. So that being the prelude for the subject matter for the rest of the Bhagavad Gita from 7th chapter. 7th chapter begins that you have to develop that asakti towards me, attachment towards me. Maya sakta manapartha. Right? So to develop that asakti towards me, Krishna says, you hear about me or hear from my pure devotees about my devotional service. The devotional service to Krishna means to love Krishna. When you want to love somebody, you need to know about that person. So Krishna himself is going to tell about himself. So these chapters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they are all chapters of Krishna telling about himself. Because we have that love for Krishna, that love is right now somehow covered. So that has to be again awakened, uncovered. So for that, Krishna is again reminding ourselves of the real knowledge what we have. If you remember in 3rd chapter, Krishna explained that our real knowledge is right now covered. Right? Jnanam avritya dehina, he said. Because lust is overpowering us. Indriyani mano buddhir asyadhisthana muchyate ete vimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. So the lust is so much overpowering our consciousness that it is bewildering us. And it has covered our real knowledge. What is our real knowledge? Our real knowledge is that I am spirit soul, I am part and parcel of Krishna, I have got very intimate relationship with him. So Krishna is coming to this point of intimate relationship gradually in the Bhagavad Gita. And towards the end, he expressed all this nicely. So to develop intimate relationship, you know somebody so intimately, or rather you have intimate relation with somebody, means you know that person so well. He knows you so much, and I know he knows me about so much. You know him so much, and he also knows you about so much. That's called intimate relation. So to begin with, Krishna tells about this world in which we are right now living, called material world. What is this material world? He introduces this material world and how this material world is constituted of, how he is all pervading. Krishna explains. Krishna says, right now, because we have forgotten him, we are put under the influence of his energy, one energy known as external energy, Maya Shakti, which is made up of 3 modes. And these modes are giving us a feel, an experience as though I am in spiritual world. But actually, these 3 modes are putting us in great illusion. The Prabhupada says very nicely in the 13th verse, purport, Prabhupada says, the whole world is enchanted by the 3 modes of material nature. Right? We are under the spell of material modes. And these modes are making us think, feel, behave, act in a way as though I am this body, everybody else is their bodies, and we're all happy in the material world. So it's giving a sense of the original spiritual existence in spiritual world. That is what is called illusion. Or complete illusion is called delusion, Prabhupada says. Delusion. We are deluded by the 3 modes. Right? So Krishna says, like this, our delusion is going on, life after life, in different bodies. And when you come to human form, at least you can understand that you're in delusion. So in this human form of life, if you realize this and come to a real sense, then surrender to Krishna. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Verse number 14, Krishna says, if you surrender to him, then you'll be freed from this Maya or illusion. Now the question comes, okay, if it is so simple, if you surrender to Krishna, Maya will be gone, why people don't surrender? For which Krishna gave explanation in 15th verse, which we discussed in the previous session. Why? Because there are different types of people, different gradations of people, in fact, who are covered by this Maya Shakti in different levels. Okay, so Krishna begins that these people have good intelligence to good merit, but they are misusing their good merit not to recognize Krishna's supremacy and not to obey the plans of Krishna. Right? They are having their own conception of life, and they have their own plans for living their life. So these type of people are called dushkritina or miscreants. And what are these? And this world is filled with all these miscreants. And the first type of miscreant is called mudha, grossly foolish, who think I have to work hard, earn money, take care of me and my family, and like this life goes on. And anything about next life, totally, I have covered my eyes. Right? So Krishna tells that they are called mudhas or asses. Right? So this is the position of foolish workers. They are just busy working day and night for earning money and maintaining themselves. That is what they think life is. That's what most of the people are. And next level of the Dushkritina or the miscreants are called Naradhama. Naradhama means lowest of the mankind. So which means you mean to say Mudas are better than Naradhamas? Yes, at least they are better than Naradhamas. Why? Because these Naradhamas are also like Mudas only, but they are more than Mudas with regard to living a very polished life. As Prabhupada says, they are socially, politically developed, but they have no religious principles. At least Mudas may have some level of religiosity. Okay, weekly once I'll go to Sunday program, right? Or, some satsang is going on, I'll go and attend. They'll take out some time, some puja, something. But these Naradhamas are so sophisticated, they don't even understand what is the purpose of life. As Prabhupada says, the purpose of life is to realize that I am spirit soul and serve Lord Krishna. Our eternal relation with Krishna has to be realized. But they don't even endeavor for that. They lose this chance. Right? So, this is what these Naradhamas are. They are like sophisticated Mudas, we can say. So, Prabhupada says, even though very easy process is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to just chant and hear, they are not even having time to do this. If you go and ask them, you please, here, no time, very busy. Lot of meetings lined up, day and night. Right? That's what they are. But they are very busy in their own way of life. So, in one sense, what Krishna is giving us the different types of miscreants, Dushkritinas are degrading one after another. Mudha, next Naradhama, which means Naradhama is also a Mudha, but higher Mudha. Okay. Next is Maya Aparta Jnana, which means they are Mudha, they are Naradhamas, and they are like very recognized personalities. They are very famous personalities in society. Just like Prabhupada says, they are mostly very learned fellows, like great philosophers, poets, scientists, thinkers, right? Some celebrities, right? So their knowledge is taken away by Maya. Maya aparata jnana. Maya misguides them. Prabhupada gives the example of how they'll be so learned sometimes that they want to misinterpret Bhagavad Gita only. Right? They're also very hardworking, like Mudas, very sophisticated, like Naradhamas, and their knowledge is stolen away. At least Naradhamas, once in a while, they attend some satsang. If somebody forces them, they come and attend some satsang. But it is Maya Jnanis, they think they are themselves very great. I know philosophy. Gita I have studied 10 times. Anything you ask me, I'll tell you. But following, zero. That is called Maya Aparta, which means the gradation of degradation is more and more if you move forward. Because there was a question by Mataji, Saraswati Mataji last time. Why this distinction? Distinction is to show how degraded the society of humanity is with regard to not surrendering to Krishna. Okay. So, Mudha, Naradhama, then Maya Aparta Jnana, and the last class is called Asuri Bhava. Asuram Bhava means completely atheistic, openly declaring there is no God. I don't believe in God. Right? Like this. So, this is the reason why these people mostly don't surrender to Krishna. And Krishna next speaks about 4 classes of people in verse 16 who surrender to him. Chaturveda bhajante ma jana sukritino arjuna. They are actually pious people. They have some good credit, good piety. So they surrender to Krishna. And these 4 categories which Krishna mentions, Artho, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnanicha Bharatashrama. They are again, gradually they are, like one level higher and higher and higher. That Krishna is going to explain in verse number 17 and 18. So, people who are in distress, people who are in need of wealth, people who are inquisitive, and people who are in knowledge, they are considered to be fortunate people or people who have piety to surrender to Krishna. Krishna now going to explain why these four types of people are considered to be very fortunate and why they are pious, and of these, who is the best. The next two verses, Krishna is going to explain this. In verse number 17, which we'll discuss today, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo hi Jnanino Atyartham Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. Now Krishna says, Tesham, of these, who is the best? Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. Vishishyate means he is especially important, or especially he is better. The wise one who is in full knowledge and union with me through pure devotional service is the best. Vishishya is Vishesha. Who is Vishesha? Who is engaged in pure devotional service. Eka Bhakti. Again, when we began our discussion today, I told about pure devotional service. That Krishna wants us to do pure devotional service. There is a difference between pure devotional service and mixed devotional service. Mixed devotional service can be, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, Karma Tyaga Bhakti. Like this, there is a lot of varieties of mixed devotional service, which in a conversation with Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai is one great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is a lot of descriptions about this, right? Devotional service mixed with some fruity mentality. That's called Karma Mishra Bhakti, right? Karma Tyaga Bhakti, wherein I want to do bhakti, wherein I want to give up the results, my results to Krishna. Even that is not pure devotion. So like this, there are different gradations of bhakti. This is all classified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Vidha Bhakti. Vidha Bhakti means it is having some tinge of materialism in terms of jnana, karma. It's like Rupa Goswami says, Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam. Pure bhakti means that Anya Vilashita Shunya. Anya Vilasha is completely Shunya. That is pure bhakti. No other desire other than serving Krishna. If the devotional service is tinged or mixed with traces of jnana, karma, etc., that is not pure devotion. Any other motive, intention, you do bhakti, that is not pure devotion. It's like telling pure gold gold, 24 karat gold, right? Pure gold, and 22 karat gold. The difference, no? 22 karat gold has some other metals also mixed in that. It's not pure, right? Purity is compromised. So Krishna wants that pure devotional service. No other desire other than serving Krishna. That is what is the level of devotion which the devotees in Vrindavan have. No other desire other than serving Krishna. Right? So here, Krishna is telling, of these four varieties of people who are pious, the distressed, the desirer of wealth, then the inquisitive, and the jnani, one who is in full knowledge, Nitya Yukta, and he is engaged in pure devotional service, he is very dear. Here we have to understand, when Krishna says jnani, we should not misunderstand this jnani, because sometimes the Sanskrit words, it is not used, if it's not understood in the proper context to the specific situation, it will again lead to some other understanding. It's like the word Atma may refer to soul, may refer to mind, may refer to intelligence, may refer to body also, depending on the context. It's like in 6th chapter, the word Atma, Krishna uses It's for referring to mind. Enatma atmaiva jitaha. One atma in that word. Two words, two times atma uses. One is for body, one is for mind. So it depends on the context. Okay. Similarly, here Krishna says Jnani. This Jnani is the one who is in relation with Krishna, is trying to understand Krishna more and more, or he wants to perform devotional service with jnana. Proper understanding is not simply doing devotion with some sentiment. If you remember, in the third chapter only, Prabhupada explained to us that religion without philosophy is actually sentiment, or sometimes fanatical. Right? Oh, I am very religious. It may be a sentiment for time being. Again, it will all die down. Or it may be like a fanatic. That religion I will strictly follow. But you don't know anything about philosophy. Whereas philosophy without religion, Prabhupada says, is mental speculation. Why? Because you simply go on speculating. Oh, this world is this, that's how this world is made up of, this life is temporary. Go on speculation. Too much intellectualizing of things. But practically, you're not following anything. That is called mental speculation. That is what one type of jnanis do. Right? Whereas Prabhupada says, the devotional service or bhakti means a combination of sentiment and philosophy both. There is bhava, there is philosophy also, tattva. Combination of both. So, when Krishna says that the jnani here is the best, who is engaged in his devotion, very clearly Krishna is adding proper qualities to the jnani. That jnani who is nitya yukta, who is always engaged in my pure devotion, eka bhakti vishishyate. So which means devotional service to Krishna is not simply blind faith, or it is not simply some sentiment. Oh, I have so much of bhakti for Krishna in heart. So this is backed with a proper understanding. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Dahaitukam. Bhagavatam says, if you have developed devotion to Vasudeva, Vasudeve Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayojana. What is the prayojana of that? What is the benefit of it? You are going to develop proper detachment from this material world with regard to your so many drives, attachment to so many things in the material world, and also going to develop the right understanding, right knowledge. That's the so bhakti doesn't mean that it is only out of some sentiment I do, and when somebody asks you why you are doing this, no, I like to do it, that's all. That's why I'm doing it. No, this is not the way Prabhupada put us, made us, follow bhakti. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself demonstrated in his own life, when it came to the point of proper understanding, knowledge of Krishna consciousness, he knew the complete Vedic understanding. In fact, he was Krishna himself, but he wanted to tell us how we should be also having that proper understanding by reading Bhagavad Gita, by understanding. See, that's why Prabhupada, from the very beginning, he made it very, very, very important for the organization, ISKCON organization, to have books. Every day, night, he used to translate the scriptures, comment on it for our understanding in English language. Just see. Because he knew, Prabhupada said, books are the basis. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on different occasions, especially one incident I would like to quote here, when he was in Banaras, Kashi, going through Banaras, Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyasa, he wanted to travel from Puri to Vrindavan. He tried quite a number of times, but he was not successful. But one time, somehow he managed. And the route was to go to Puri, to go to Vrindavan from Puri, is that he has to go through Banaras, then Prayag, then come to Vrindavan. Right. So that was the way, route. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he passed through Banaras, there were many impersonalists or Mayavadi sannyasis at time, 500 years ago. The impersonalists or the Mayavadis, according to them, a sannyasi is supposed to only study Vedanta all the time. And this type of, chanting, dancing, they think is not the duty of a sannyasi. It is a very neophyte or a very beginning stage of the sannyasi. But if you are more advanced, then you should not do this. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, why are you chanting and dancing? You are supposed to read Vedanta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, actually, my guru considers me to be a fool number one. I cannot read Vedanta. This is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling about us only. All of us are fool number ones. We cannot read and understand Vedanta. Only thing we can do is chant and dance Hare Krishna. And when this was asked, further discussion went on between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the sannyasis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started telling, actually, he started quoting from Vedanta, from all the scriptures, the basis why chanting and dancing is the essence of all scriptures. These sannyasis were all stunned. They were thinking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be only sentimental, but he is having complete knowledge of the reason for why he is doing this Sankirtana. Then after that, all these 60,000 sannyasis surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his disciples. The whole Banaras became Vaishnavas. The past time like this. So, this is just to make us understand, Jnani doesn't mean dry speculator or dry philosopher, as Prabhupada used this word. Dry speculator means there is no devotion to Krishna. Just go on speculation. He's not that type of Jnani. Here, Jnani, Krishna is specifically telling the Jnani who is a Bhakta. Now, Bhakti means Jnana Vairagya together. Right? Jnana about Krishna, Krishna's devotion, Krishna's various aspects, that is called Jnana. When you tell you have to chant Hare Krishna, simply you are not chanting like a machine. You have the background understanding. This Nama of Krishna is Krishna himself. And this Krishna has descended on my tongue, is descending on my tongue when I chant, and he is going to give me the highest benefit in this Kali Yuga. This understanding, this Jnana, such a Jnani. In fact, the whole 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if you carefully read, Krishna is stressing on Jnana so much. He says in one of the verses in 4th chapter, Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham Pavitram Iha Vidyate is verse number 38 in 4th chapter. So sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Right? Tat Swayam Yoga Samsiddha Kalen Atmani Vindati. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. Means, when you come to this platform of Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge, it is the mature fruit of all the yogic processes. And one who achieves this enjoys the self within himself in due course of time. Which means, Krishna clearly says in the 4th chapter, that the very purpose of performing different yajnas, different rituals, different to the platform of understanding, knowledge, simply doing them for the sake of doing it as a ritual and not getting knowledge, not having the knowledge basically means the revelation and the actual direction, light, what I am supposed to be, what I am actually. This revelation is not coming, then you are simply wasting your time. That's the point. So, coming to this platform of knowledge basically means realizing that you are part and parcel of Krishna, you are eternal servant of Krishna, and acting in that relationship. Jnana, then Vijnana for here very clearly. You have to come to the platform of knowledge. Otherwise, you will remain. If you don't come to the platform of understanding about the intricacies of devotional service, then you will remain in a platform wherein the devotional service you may do will be, little shaky, little Maya influence. You will shake and you will go with the Maya waves. Right? That's the point. So based on this level of your faith in Krishna consciousness, there are different divisions of devotees. As Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. These divisions are based on the level of your understanding of Krishna consciousness. Kanishta Adhikari means very beginning stage, neophyte stage, wherein you don't have understanding of Krishna consciousness. Some other person will come and put some other logic and some other type of presentation. You'll get carried away. You'll get confused. Oh, this seems to be very nice, good philosophy. That one Babaji spoke something like this in Bhagavad Katha Prabhu. So nicely spoke. Right? You can't distinguish. Problem. Right? So this happens. Mr. Prabhupada says, strictly don't hear from anybody who is not in parampara. In fact, Prabhupada restricted devotees in Hare Krishna movement ISKCON not to even hear other, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Unless you come to some level of maturity. Because you are still in a very beginning stage, you hear something else, and then you get confused and you will not even follow what you're supposed to follow. Right? So like in ISKCON, we are supposed to chant 16 rounds minimum, as per Prabhupada direction. In Gaudiya Math, they are supposed to chant 64 rounds minimum, as per Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj order. So you see, what is this, Prabhu? One direction there, one direction. What I should follow? Prabhupada said, you just follow what I am telling. Don't get confused. Right? No, some other Vaishnava organizations, they follow Ekadashi very strictly. What I should follow? Don't get confused. What Prabhupada has set up, you follow. For any confusion, you please refer Prabhupada's teachings. Right? That's the point. So, Jnana here basically means strictly adhering to what Guru Krishna wants us to follow in performing our devotional service. So, unless you come to this platform of knowledge, and Jnana will come, Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashito. Jnana will be revealed to us when we sincerely, seriously follow whatever Prabhupada is telling us. Very simple. We simply follow what Prabhupada wants us to follow, Jnana will follow. Right? So, thing is to follow is what? That much knowledge you should have. I want to follow Prabhupada, not follow your mind. Right? That's the point. So here, Krishna is very nicely telling the Jnani who is in full knowledge of understanding of relation with Krishna and performing pure devotional service to him is the best. Why? Because Priyo hi jnanino atyartham aham sacha mama priyaha. This Krishna is revealing. Why? Because he amongst the other three, he is the best. Why? Because he's at least come to the platform of pure devotion. Some level of pure devotion has come. See, Krishna always sees that you have to progress. Right? You cannot remain in a very beginning stage always. Because beginning stage is little shaky. Anytime you can go. I'll give you an example. This artha and artha, distress and desire of wealth. Distress and desire of wealth. These two categories are coming to Krishna. Give me wealth. Give me some problem is there. Please solve this. And Krishna also gives tathastu. Problem is solved. They may forget Krishna one time. Again, if the problem is not solved, they may feel dissatisfied and they become averse to Krishna. Prabhupada gives example during Second World War. Many German women, they were going to church and praying. My husband, my brother, my father, my younger brother, so many men are all gone to war. My dear Lord, please save them. And after the war, when nobody returned, they were all so upset with God, they all became atheists. It is why? Because their level of understanding of God means God is auto supplier. God provides me, I'll offer my devotion to Him. God doesn't provide, I'll stop. It's like employer and employee relation. This month, no salary. Then all respect and all devotion to the owner is gone. Like that. This type of devotion is not pure devotion. It is mixed with some desires. That's the point. So, this level of the level of devotion or the level of understanding of artha and artha is such that they may fall back to Maya's control again, fully. But at least they have come to devotion to Krishna is their credit. That is good. That Krishna acknowledges in the next verse. Right? He says in the next verse, 18th verse, Udara sarva evaite jnani atmaiva vematam astita sahiyuktatma mameva anuttamam gatim. He says, definitely all of them are magnanimous. Udara. Udara means, Udari means very broad-minded and very, you can say, magnanimous. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Udari Avatar. Namo Mahavadanyaya Avatar. The most magnanimous avatar. Magnanimous means very liberal. He wants to give out everything. Doesn't want to hold anything for himself. He wants to give everything to Krishna. That's called, that way, they are, whereas Dushkritana, you see, they want to do everything for me, myself, me and myself, me and mine. This is the mood of Dushkritina. Whereas Sukritina, they want to give it to Krishna. But there are again different degrees. So Krishna acknowledges that these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous. But again, Krishna is confirming, Jnani tu atmaiva me matam. But those who are situated in knowledge of devotion to Krishna is they are better. They are in me. Astita sahi yukta atma. Right? They dwell in me. Right? And because they are performing devotion to me, they will come to me. Again and again, Krishna is stressing in both the 17-18 verses that coming to the platform of proper understanding and performing devotion is very important. Right? Otherwise, devotion remains a mere sentiment. Right? What I am doing, this revelation is all given in the Bhagavad Gita. You have to read, understand, try to internalize it. Right? You have to, have that mood, sincerity to, yes, I want to understand, I want to know. So much Prabhupada says, so much verses are there in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Just 2 days back, we were hearing Prabhupada's class. Prabhupada says, 18,000 verses. Every day you read 2 verses. You require 9,000 days. 9,000 days comes to around 25 years. So every day you should read for 25 years. Then you can finish Bhagavatam. See, so much of literature is there. And not only once you have to read, again and again you have to read. In one of our sessions, one of our senior devotees was telling, you should read Bhagavad Gita 10 times at least in your life. Bhagavatam 3 times. Chaitanya Charitamrita at least once. Right? This much reading time we have to take out. Because reading once, it will not go so immediately. Take time, slowly it will go. So, coming to the platform of understanding means knowing very, that the whole understanding, the whole psychic way of working is so natural that there is no inhibition in you. That's what Krishna is trying to tell us here. You see, repeatedly in 17th and 18th verse, he's telling the same thing. Jnani is the best. Of course, those who have come to devotion in any situation is always good, but Jnani is the best. Right? Because he's already come to one very elevated stage of progress. That little more progress, he will come back to me. Mam evanuttamam gatim. Because he's engaged in my devotional service purely, surely he will attain me. Prabhupada is quoting a very nice verse from Bhagavatam. This is a verse quoted from the 9th canto of Bhagavatam. Incident of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was a pure devotee. Durvasa Muni once came. He was a mystic yogi. He once came to just see, because he was so famous, Ambarish Maharaj. Let me see how famous he is. So he came and he did some sort of a he wanted to test him. So on Ekadashi day, purposely he came and delayed in taking his meals, because Ambarish Maharaj was waiting. No, this Rishi will come, he will take his prasadam, then I will break my fast. But he delayed. Then Ambarish Maharaj consulted his other priests. They advised, you can take little water. Taking water is as good as breaking or not breaking fast. He took little water. When Durvasa Muni came back, he was very annoyed. He started, became so angry that he created a demon by his mystic power. And he told, this should kill Ambarish Maharaj because he's insulted me as a guest. So that demon, when he started attacking Ambarish Maharaj, Krishna always has a promise that my devotee will never be vanquished. He released his Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra, it kills this demon which was about to attack Ambarish Maharaj. Started following Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was so afraid that he started running here and there. He went to Kailasa, started praying to Lord Shiva. This Sudarshan Chakra is following me, please help. Lord Shiva said, I can't do anything. Okay, it's beyond my powers. He went to Brahma Loka, Brahma. There also Brahma said, nothing I can do. He started going to Vaikuntha also. That much power he had seen. Mystic power, so much mystic power he had. He went to Vaikuntha. There he's telling Vishnu, your Sudarshan Chakra is following me, please save. Vishnu said, I also cannot do anything. Why? Because this Sudarshan Chakra was released to save Ambarish Maharaj. Unless he forgives you, nothing can happen. So at that time, Lord is telling this verse, very nice verse, Prabhupada is quoting in the purport, that aham bhakta paradhino hi asvatantra hi dvija sadhubir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta janapriyaha. So Lord is telling, the devotees are always in my heart. Aham bhakta paradhino. Right? And I am always in the heart of the devotees. Krishna is in the heart of devotees, and devotees are in the heart of Krishna. This is the level of intimate relation with Krishna and devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also do not know. I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotee. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very much dear to me. This spiritual touch, this jnana of Krishna will keep you in spiritual touch. Therefore, they are very much dear to me. Yes, see, this is the reason why Krishna is so much, wants us to come to the platform of understanding Him, knowledge of Him. Right? And His knowledge again is not that you grab it from somewhere. No, it has to be bestowed by Guru Krishna Prasade. So that sincerity in your side to act in a way that this knowledge is bestowed is important. Okay, so next verse, Krishna is telling, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Right, so now, like this, Krishna is telling about those Jnanis who are not doing this devotional service. who are in their own speculative habits. Right? But those who are actually in proper understanding, they will attain Krishna very soon. But those who are not in proper understanding, but there is speculative habit, what will happen? Krishna is telling, it will take many, many millions of births to surrender to Krishna. Because to come to the knowledge that I am everything, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, is not easy, Krishna says. Vasudeva Sarvamiti means the cause of all causes is Krishna. Such a great soul is very rare. So Krishna is again reconfirming. A jnani who is actually Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate, Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate is special. Whereas this level of jnani who is speculating and coming, trying to figure out things, it may take millions of births to him. So Krishna is telling here in this very nicely that the power of understanding which Krishna gives is meant to know him. Sarva Karana Karanam, as Brahma says in the prayer to Lord Krishna. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The same thing is repeated here. Sarva Karana Karanam. Who is that? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Krishna is everything. This is what Krishna has been explaining in this chapter. How this whole material world is coming from him. Everything is all pervading. All things, all energies, what you see is all him only. His energies only. Right? I am the taste in water. I am the light in the sun and the moon. I am the real fragrance of every element, every spice, every fruit. I am the life of all that is living. Krishna says, I am everywhere. I am all pervading. I am everything. And Vasudeva Sarvamiti. To come to this knowledge is very rare. Such a person is called Mahatma. Right? So now Krishna is going to speak about one more. If this surrendering to Krishna and offering service to Krishna is so important, why there are so many devatas in this material world? And why people are attracted to devata worship? And what is this devata worship? And what does Krishna want to say about devata worship? Now in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 verses, 20, 22, 23, yes, 4 verses, Krishna explains about devata worship. Right. In the next, he will speak about impersonal worship. Right. So in this way, 7th chapter is very interesting. So what does Krishna say about devata worship? In verse 20, he says, why do people worship devatas? Kamais stestir hritaghyana prapadyante anya devata tam niyamamastaya prakritya niyatasvaya. Those whose minds are distorted by the material desires. Kama. Kama means material desire. My desire is to enjoy in the material world by talking about jnana. Real knowledge means the knowledge that I am spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna. But your knowledge is distorted by material desires. What do? You don't surrender to Krishna, you surrender to devatas. Prapadyante anya devata, and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Yes, see? So, when your knowledge is bewildered, real understanding of who you are, why you are in this material world is all bewildered, you're only settled with this material world. It means world of enjoyment. I am this body and everybody is body. I want material necessities. If this is your goal in life, then what happens? You will surrender to devatas. And devatas, you surrender and you follow the rules, regulations as per devata worship. And you start following the different types of various regulations accordingly. Right? Prakritya niyata svaya. So who are these devatas? We understood in the previous chapters. They're all appointed officers in the universal management of this material world. by Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna has empowered few human beings with powers to manage the different departmental affairs in the material world. Just like recently election happened and there was a cabinet ministry and different ministers got portfolios. Prime Minister was selected amongst those elected representatives. So all is like that. Krishna selects few qualified humans to act as officers. They are called devatas. They are like us only, but they are empowered. Right? They are empowered because of some qualification. They have done some, it is said in Bhagavatam, if you lead a life of complete, piety, means full punya life for 100 lives, you'll become Brahma. This Bhagavatam statement. Right? So like that, if you have developed some level of pious qualifications, Krishna will elevate you as devatas. And devatas again means they are not pure devotees, they are sakama bhaktas. They are also having desires. So they are empowered entities. So they can, just like Prabhupada gives example, a government officer comes to your house or a place, you go and meet a government officer. He's having some power. That's why you go and meet him and you worship him. Right? You worship means you glorify him, you want to, pamper him. What happens, right? Like that, these devatas are like empowered officers. You pamper them and you want to, satisfy them because you want some favor. That's what Krishna explains. So people whose minds are disturbed, distorted by material desires, they worship devatas. And Krishna next says in verse 21, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayachtam icchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tam eva vidham yaham. So Krishna is telling the devotion you get towards those devatas, because you have desired some material things, so you develop a desire to worship a devata. So that faith to worship a devata, Krishna says, I only give. Why? Because Krishna is sitting as Paramatma. Right? So Lord knows what is your desire. And accordingly, He will develop that faith for you to go to one particular devata. Right? So whereas you see in the example of Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to see Krishna, Supreme Lord, Narayana. Right? So he was very determined. So Krishna sent Narada to give him direction. Likewise, if you have material desires, then Krishna also will, as Paramatma, he knows, okay, you go and worship this devata, particular devata. It's like the recommendations are in the Bhagavatam. If you want to have beautiful wife, you worship Parvati. Right? If you want lot of wealth, you worship, Kubera. You want good health, you worship Sun God. Like that, many recommendations are there. So according to your desire, you worship different devatas. So that faith to worship a specific devata is given by Krishna only. So that person can become a nice devotee of that particular devata. This is what Krishna says in verse 21. In 22, Krishna says, Sataya Shraddhaya Yukta Tasya Radhana Mihate Labate Tathak Kaman Mayeva Vihitan Hitan. And when that person who is devoted to one devata, he becomes so faithfully following all the rules, regulations, and he seeks some favor from that particular devata. Please give me this benediction, this vara. So Krishna says that vara which that devata gives, benediction that devata gives, is also given by me to devata, and devata gives you. So much indirect system. Right? So Krishna is telling the faith to a particular devata in a person is given by me only. And any benediction that devata has to give you, he cannot give independently. Devata has to ask permission. So much complication. That's why Krishna says, why are you so much bothered in Devata worship? Because Krishna says in verse 23, Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavat yalpa medasam. Those who worship these devatas are alpa buddhi, alpa medasam. Their intelligence is very small. They have meager intelligence. And the fruits they get, the results they get is temporary, antavanta. Why? Because if you worship Krishna, the results what you get is permanent, eternal. And those who worship Krishna, Bhagavatam says they are sumedasaha. They are very intelligent. Those who worship devatas, they are alpa medasaha, less intelligent. And they are hritajnana, they have lost their intelligence. So strong words Krishna is using. In fact, Krishna is, through these verses is telling all of us, worshipping devatas is not recommended. In fact, he is condemning devata worship. Telling, why are you wasting your time? Right? We know the science behind what is devata worship. You will have that respect for devatas, not that you disrespect them, but you don't get into this devata worship. Right? Krishna says, Devan deva ejo yanti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. If you worship devatas, you go to devata loka. You worship me, you will come to me, Krishna says. Devata loka is again part of the material world. You will see in the next chapter, Krishna says, once this material world is going through annihilation, vinasha, everybody is destroyed. Devata is destroyed, Devata's boon is destroyed, Devata's devotee is destroyed, everybody is destroyed. Finish. Again cycle. So very nicely Krishna is telling about the signs of the Devata worship or demigod worship in these 4 verses. Right? So I want all of you to go through these verses carefully. Very wonderful purpose Prabhupada has given. The essence is this. Worship of Devata is condemned by Krishna. This worship of Devata is done by those people who are less intelligent, whose intelligence is lost. Who have lost their knowledge, good sense, because they want material enjoyment. So they develop some devotion towards one faith towards some Devata. That faith also Krishna only gives. And the benediction which Devata they are asking for, that benediction also Krishna only has to sanction. Finally. And the benedictions what Devatas give is temporary, not permanent, and they are now going to again entangle you. There are many wonderful incidents described in Bhagavatam. How Devatas worship will give the results which is going to be very disastrous sometimes. So in that way, Krishna is concluding that yes, you worship me, then you will come to me. Okay, so we covered in this session about the 4 types of people who worship Krishna, pious people. And among these 4 types of people, who is the best? The Jnani with proper devotional understanding is the best. And why is best we understood. And what is the purpose of Devata worship, and what is the why Krishna condemns Devata worship also Krishna explains. Okay, so with this we conclude today's session. If anybody wants to ask something, comment, discuss something, you can take up now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, before we could come into Krishna consciousness, we also would have worshipped the devatas, the demigods in different temples and other places. But after coming into Krishna consciousness, it has been made clear through these verses that Krishna alone is supreme. So in this situation, it is not necessary for us to visit temples of devatas. It's not.
Yeah, whether we should visit devata temples or no. Now.
Yes.
So rather with the personal example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was on a South India tour, he visited so many devata temples. So, see, when you see devata with a proper perspective and realize his position in relation to Krishna in a proper way, and seek his blessings as a devotee of Krishna, that is fine. It's like Lord Shiva temple you go, and see him as a Parama Vaishnava
Yes.
and seek his blessings. That is fine. But you take Shiva independent and no relation of Krishna, and you're only seeking material blessings. That is what Krishna condemns here. Of course, you also visit devotees' houses, right? Why? Because devotee association. So when you see devatas as devotees, who can help us in devotion to Krishna, in that way you seek blessings from them for devotional progress. It is welcome. Just like in the Bhagavatam, we get example of the gopis worshipping Katyayini, Parvati.
Yeah.
Why? Because they wanted Krishna as the husband. Right? Just like you want a beautiful wife, you worship Katyayini. Similarly, girls want beautiful husband, they also they worship Katyayini. So the purpose here was to get Krishna or devotion to Krishna. Right? So there was no any material motive. So the intention with regard to what you are going is important. There is no question of disrespect. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going in a particular order along his route to South Indian tour, starting from Simhachalam all the way to Kolhapur. Right? So he visited so many innumerable temples of Durga, Shiva, right? Even Vishnu, like this. So he didn't, but wherever he was only seeing how, he's seeing with the proper perspective of Shiva's position. Just like in the Brahma Samhita, Prabhupada explains, all these personalities' actual position is explained. With Durga, it is explained by Brahma. Shrishti Sthiti Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chhayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichhana Rupam Api Yasya Cheshtate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya, the creation, maintenance, destruction is carried out by the agency of Durga under the order of Krishna as a shadow potency of Krishna. She is not independent of Krishna. It's like this, the proper understanding, if you see, and then go and offer similar prayers to them and seek their blessings for devotion, because they have been, just like Lord Shiva, Durga, they are not ordinary personalities, they are great personalities. They are not even coming under the Jiva Tattva category. They are all elevated personalities. They are separate Tattva, they are. Right? So like that, understanding their real position is called Tattva Jnana, right? Of these great of these personalities, and accordingly having that proper respect and seeking their blessings is always welcome. Right? Specifically, we don't go because in the neophyte stage we may be because we are not so trained to see things, and of course when we go for a pilgrimage. We come across, okay, this temple Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, or this temple is very famous. We see that in relation from the Vaishnava understanding as given by Prabhupada. Right? So, but we should have, see, as Vaishnavas, we have we have the highest respect for all the devatas. Not at all, Krishna is condemning devata worship. He is condemning it because commonly people equate something else as something else. In fact, scriptures say, if we equate devatas with Vishnu or Krishna, he is atheist. Scriptures say this. So in order to give them some level of awakening, Krishna is giving basic understanding about devata worship. Right? Otherwise, if you have a proper perspective, yes, of course, as great devotees, they are empowered personalities, we should always seek their blessings for devotion. It's clear?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Yes, Gupta ji.
Say in old times, each family used to have a Kul Devi or Kul Devta.
Yeah.
So now today I could understand what it all means. So as you mentioned, it's a delegation of duties or something for some specific area. So even today, if anything good happens, before starting good or something, people visit the Kul Devi's temple or Kul Devi Devta temple to seek their blessing. So today I got clarification. Maybe each area would be handed over to some deity, and which is supposed to look after that reason.
Correct.
Became good. Very interesting. Very interesting.
That's how it is. See, the whole universal management is conducted so systematically by Krishna. These various agents.
Very true.
Yes, and all of them are reporting to him.
Yes.
Just I was reading yesterday only in one book called Nectar of Devotion. When Krishna was in Dwaraka, all these devatas used to come and wanted to visit Krishna and pay their respects. So, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Varuna, Yamaraj, everybody is waiting outside. Just like when a big minister, the prime minister comes, all ministers are waiting outside to have a glance, meeting with him. So the attendants there in Dwaraka, they're telling, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, you wait. Krishna is busy with some other meeting. And Indra is, his attendants are telling, Indra, don't offer praise so loudly, it's disturbing everybody. Keep quiet. Right? Then Varuna, I think Krishna cannot meet you, you can go back. So like this, for us, it looks like, oh, big devata. But from Krishna, all these devatas are like, Ji Huzur. Whatever you say, Krishna, please tell us. We'll take your orders.
Yeah, right? I was listening to someone. So somebody asked Krishna, whom do you meditate upon? And likewise, somebody asked Shiva, whom do you meditate upon? Then the answer came, Krishna meditates on Shiva and Shiva meditates on Krishna.
Yeah, and that's what we read today.
Yeah,
we read today also, we know.
Yeah. So that is why they have both Shiva and Krishna has a very good combination.
In my heart, devotees are there, and in devotees' heart, I am there.
Yes.
That's all. Yeah. So Shiva is a great devotee.
Yeah.
And Krishna's, and Shiva's heart, Krishna only is there always.
Yeah. And
Krishna's heart, all devotees are there always. That's the point.
Yes.
Okay. So in that way, Krishna is not simply, taking your devotion. He's reciprocating. So it is called intimate relationship. Intimate relationship has a reciprocation, not one-sided.
Krishna is supposed to be the brother of Parvati.
Yes, elder brother. At least in relation to the Krishna's pastimes, recently what happened.
Yeah, the story goes on. It's a very old relationship when Parvati ji was as a sati. So as a form of sati, Krishna ji helped sati to come near to Parvati, Shivji. So that is how that relationship, brother-sister relationship started. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. Right. So nice understanding. So let's read this chapter. We already completed 23 verses. And then I want all of you to go through these verses carefully again. Purports are filled with wonderful, pregnant meanings and deep meanings. So please slowly, carefully read, absorb them. Anything required, you can directly, WhatsApp me, call me, conveniently, and then we can discuss on the points. Or you prepare your questions next whenever you have session. We can always have question answer session. Okay. Fine then. So I'll close now. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.